Well, the Old Bexley and Sidcup by-election was the first real big test for Boris Johnson's government after what has been a chaotic couple of months. We've had problems with the sleaze affair, we've had the questions over social care reform, we've had criticisms over HS2 plans being downgraded, and then more recently confusion over COVID restrictions following the emergence of the new Omicron variant. All of this taking place against the backdrop of rising concerns over cost of living and taxes, and then just generally the midterm blues which all governments have to face going into these sorts of by-elections. But lots of things for voters to be unhappy about when they went to the polls yesterday. Now, three big takeouts. The first was that the Conservatives' majority was significantly reduced from just under 19,000 in 2019 to 4,400 for Louie French, the homegrown local candidate who won in the early hours of Friday morning for the Conservatives. That represents a 10% swing to Labour, although of course the Conservatives say it was still a solid result. They still got over 50% of the vote. This has always been a Conservative safe seat for decades. And so it was always unlikely to flip to Labour. But nevertheless, some suggestions there that perhaps some of the recent problems have played into a reduced majority for the Conservatives. Second big thing was the low turnout. That was really down compared to 2019. It was around 70% a couple of years ago at the general election. This time it was around 34%. Now that might represent sort of general voter apathy, or perhaps even voters being turned off by the sleaze allegations, which they see as affecting all parties, not just the Conservatives. But the third thing that was really interesting was the performance of Reform UK. Now, Reform UK is the successor to Nigel Farage's Brexit party. It campaigned very hard in Bexley and Sidcup. Its leader, Richard Tice, actually stood. They won 6% of the vote, which is just over 1,000 votes, which it doesn't sound like very many, but in those tighter marginal seats, particularly in red wall northern areas, come a general election, Boris Johnson could really find himself squeezed both on the right and the left.